Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to continue my chapter, Our Changing Earth. This is a chapter 3, Geography. Our Changing Earth is a chapter. Already we have discussed about the earth movements, endogenic movement and exogenic movements. And these are the forces because of that movements occurred and the changes to be done on the earth's surface because of the earthquake, volcano, landslides already I've discussed. So in this slide, I'm going to discuss about the exogenic forces. These are occurring due to the erosional and depositional activities. Erosional activities. What do you mean by erosional? Before this, you have to understand about the weathering. What do you mean by weather? Weathering. Weathering is a when rocks are loosen up, that is known as the weathering due to the running water or due to the wind. And when it is broken down, it is known as the erosion. And because of the running water or the wind, it will transfer from one place to another. That will be known as the transportation, and somewhere it will deposit. That is known as the depositional activity. It can be done by the running water, wind, sea caves, glaciers, and others. Already I've discussed about the volcano, that is the endogenic forces. Okay, this how earthquake occurs. Already I discussed from where that earthquake starts is known as the focus, and uppermost area of the focus is known as the epicenter. These things already I have discussed. Now in this video I have to discuss about the uh, mm, exogenic forces, that is a work of a river. Work of a river is that river starts from the any mountain or from the any glacier. The running water in the river erodes the landscape. When the river tumbles at the steep angle over very hard rocks or down a steep valley side is known as the waterfall. Waterfall, what do you mean by waterfall? Water gets down from the very high mountains, from the steep slopes, is known as the waterfall. As the river enters to the plain, it twists and turns and forming the meanders. Sometimes, not sometimes, river always flow like in this way, and it turns and twists. Sometimes it twists too much. That is known as the meanders. When it twists, that is known as the meanders. Sometimes water gets separated from the main river. Then it is known as the Oxbow Lakes. It is known as the Oxbow Lakes, and at times the river overflows, it banks. This leads to the flooding of the neighboring areas. As it floods, it deposits layer to fine soil and other material called the sediments along its banks. This is called the floodplains or the levees. That because of the high volume of the water, it spreads to the nearby areas and make a very fertile area. That area is known as the levees or the floodplains. As the river approaches the sea, the speed of the flowing water decreases. Why speed of the flowing water decreases? Because of the plain areas, and the river begins to break up into a number of streams. When it is divided into so many streams, why it will be divided into so many streams? Because of the plain areas. Plain area, it will spread here and there and will divide into so many small streams, or we can say the distributaries, and it looks like a triangular shape. Before meeting the sea or ocean, when river uh, before meeting to sea or ocean, when river divided into so many tributaries and or distributaries and looks like a triangle, that is known as the delta. Now next is Features made by sea waves. uh, how these features are made up. The erosional and deposition of the sea caves gives rise to the coastal landforms. Because of the erosion and deposition, there are different types of features are made up. Sea caves continuously strike at the rocks. Cracks develop. सबसे पहले क्या होता है, क्रैक्स होते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द लूजन ऑफ द सॉइल. Over time, they become larger and wider. Hollow-like caves are formed on the rocks. They are called the sea caves. Like sea caves, this is given here. You can see because of the hollow-like structure, it is gives a birth to the sea caves. Why? Because of the erosion and depositional activity. And as these cavities become bigger and bigger, only the roof of the caves may remain. That is known as the sea arch. Like you can see, only the roof will be done over there because of the loosening of the soil, because of the erosion and the deposition. Only roof remains is known as the sea arch. Further erosion are left. Further erosion breaks the roof and only walls are left. These wall-like structures are known as the stacks. Here you can see it is separated due to the erosional and depositional activities of continuously done over there. So it becomes separate. It is known as the arc-like structure. The steep rocky coast rising almost vertically above seawater is known as the sea cliffs. The sea waves deposit sediments along the shores forming beaches. Because of the depositional and erosional activities is to be going on continuously on the coastal areas, so that beaches to be made up. Now next is sand dunes. Sand dunes are uh, made up in the desert areas because of the high velocity of the wind. When wind blows over there, because of the wind, it carries with them sediments, silt and all, and it deposits somewhere, and gives a birth to the sand dunes. An active agent of erosion and deposition in the desert is wind. In deserts, you can see rocks in the shape of mushroom, commonly known as the mushroom rocks. Winds erode the lower section of the rock more than the upper part. It is eroding the upper part because it is in a loosened form. And when wind blows, high velocity of the wind, when it will be, then it carried with them all the sand and deposit somewhere. It is known as the sand dunes. It can be in a different shapes. Further, I will explain. Such rocks have narrower base and wider top. When the wind blows, it lifts and transports sand from one place to another. When it stops blowing and sand falls, get deposit in low hill-like structure is known as the sand dunes. When the grains of sand are very fine and light, the wind can carry it over and very long distances. When such sand is deposited in large area is known as the loess. Large deposit of the loess are found mainly in the China. Now I am going to discuss the last topic of the glacier. That are the glaciers are the river of ice. River of ice. When larger area is covered with the ice is known as the glaciers, which to erode the landscape by the soil and the sandstone to soil and the stones to expose the solid rock below. Glaciers crave out deep hollows like structures. Sometimes ice melts, they get filled with water and become beautiful lakes in the mountains is known as the glaciers. And the material carried by the glaciers such as rocks, big and small, sand and silt gets deposited are known as the glacier moraines. Moraines are the deposition form of the uh, ice.